A microphone doesn't do you any good if it's like over there, like this. Like it's not picking me up. You probably could hear different sound. Hi, it's Jennifer Lee, and today we're going to talk about three mistakes people make when using a USB microphone. But before we get to that, who am I? Well, I own a company called JPod Creations. You can find us at jpodcreations.com. I help different organizations and businesses on how to podcast for business. Where did I get all this knowledge? Well, I actually started as a broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster turned podcaster. And now I want to take all that knowledge and help you podcast for your business or podcast for yourself. So let's talk about the three mistakes people make when using a USB microphone. Of course, USB microphones make it a lot easier for all of us to broadcast, which is amazing. And I applaud that because being a broadcaster, I love my microphone. I've been on the radio for many years, couldn't do my job without it, makes me sound great. And I always love it when people use microphones. I help a lot of people set them up in virtual consultations as well, because USB microphones, like any microphone, need to be set up for ultimate sound quality. So you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. So USB microphones range. You can get some great ones for $150 or more, but the ones I like are usually in the 150 range because they're USB microphone, pretty great, pretty reliable. I like them. I usually use the Yetis. There's many out there too. But if you want to spend a bit more money, Shure's got some great ones as well. It just depends what you're using. But I also say a microphone purchased, you can never go wrong because a lot of us are doing virtual calls nowadays in our business life. So if you are doing a podcast, if you have a microphone and you spend money on it, you're able to use it also in your Zoom calls or other types of virtual calls, and you just sound that much more professional. So, money on a microphone is never wasted, even if your podcast journey is not that long. So, the three mistakes people make when using a USB microphone is number one, not knowing what mode to put your microphone on. Not all USB microphones have multiple modes, but a majority of them do, especially the one that I said I usually use, which is the Yeti. And they're great because you can put them on multiple modes. But usually, when people are podcasting, they're going to be using dynamic, which is this guy right here. This is an XLR microphone, so it's only one thing. It's a dynamic microphone, meaning sound goes this way in here. You can't go the side of it. It's not clear. As soon as I bring my mouth over here, it's a much richer and cleaner sound. And obviously, the level is a lot better. But it means you can't move your head on and off like this. So, this is what we usually use for radio, and we use it for podcasting. So, on the Yeti, there are four different modes on the back. And a lot of times, people don't have it on the right one. For the Yeti specifically, can't speak to the other ones, but it looks like a little heart almost. Ask me more questions about it below if you can't find it, but make sure you have it on that. Number two, the next thing is people don't have them near them. Microphones have to be near you. A lot of people don't like to have them near them because they want it to look farther away, especially when they're on video like this. They want to make sure that it's not right in their face. But, a microphone doesn't do you any good if it's like over there, like this. Like it's not picking me up. You probably could hear different sound as soon as I go here. It's better. I can even see in the screen because I'm looking at a level meter, and it's just a lot better. If you're going to use a microphone, you might as well put it the right way. A lot of the times I'll get on calls with people and their eyesight will be going this way. And I'm like, what are you looking at? And they're like, oh, I got a microphone because I'm going to podcast. And I said, oh, great. And I said, but why do you keep looking there? And they said, oh, because that's where my microphone is. And I said, no, no. Again, it's usually a dynamic microphone. So I said, you got to make sure your sound is getting directed in here. So you got to pull it into you. And so they'll move it to them, and the sound is night and day. Not only that, though, sometimes they don't have it high enough because a lot of them don't. These microphones, the stand they come with are very low. So depending on where your desk is, a lot of times you have to prop them up on books to get them to the right height. It's usually about here. It's like a little old school cell phone, just in case anyone gets confused on what I'm saying. It's like this. There we go. Or hang loose, I guess. Hang loose sign. I don't know. But anyways, you go like that, and it's usually the right height. Another thing I suggest for people too, especially if they're going to be using their microphone a lot, either for business or for podcasting, is to get one of those arms. The arms are really great because it places the microphone in the right spot for you. And sometimes, depending on where your Zoom camera is or your camera for your computer, you won't necessarily see the microphone. But again, it will just give you that better sound quality. Mistake number 3. So a lot of these USB microphones are all plug and play, which makes it easy for you because it downloads its software automatically and in seconds. But the problem is a lot of people don't realize it because it is USB and as software, you got to go into your computer settings. So in radio, we have this terminology where if your sound is too loud, it's too hot. And that means you basically your levels are just like hitting the end. So a lot of the times when I check people's settings in their audio settings, the microphone literally jacks them up to 100% because that's just what the microphone is programmed to do. So you really want to move it down and play with it. Maybe you're a 60% speaker, or maybe you need to go a little higher because you're a soft speaker, or maybe you need to go a lot lower to like 30% because you're a very loud talker. Make sure you play around with it because, again, that's going to give you a nice, crisp sound. So there we go. I love talking about microphones. Ask me any questions. Again, I do virtual consultations if people want to be able to set up their microphone properly. You can check out my services from my business, jpodcreations.com, and just do the things that you got to do on YouTube, like hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and I appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next time. Okay. Randy, that's